Hello. I'm going to talk to you about a book that I enjoyed this summer. So, this book is called, it's so glary, The Afterward. It's by E.K. Johnston. I really like some of the other books she's written. There's a book called Exit Pursued by Bear, which is very, very different from this book and also really good. So this book is a fantasy book, which you can probably guess by the cover, which is dreadful, and you should read it despite the cover. I thought it was it was a very interesting concept to start. So the main concept of it is that there's this group of total badasses, mostly women, one man who went on an epic sort of Lord of the Rings-esque quest. And now that's over, and it's all about their lives after the quest, the afterward. And what I found the most compelling about it is the two main characters are kind of, despite being heroes of the realm, and having done these incredible things, are very much trapped by circumstance. So they fell in love while they were on the quest, and one of them is a knight in training, and she, she's middle class, but she's definitely not rich. So to be able to study to become a knight, she had to go into pretty considerable debt, and the way that she can pay that off is by marrying rich and getting that dowry money. And the girl that she fell in love with was the thief of the trip. So she doesn't have a lot of money, and she doesn't even really feel like she has any marketable skills besides stealing. So they, because of these circumstances, are not able to be together, I think. It talks about, sort of like it looks at, this is feudal, this isn't capitalism, but it looks at how a system that's set up around wealth and money and class is really heartbreaking and devastating to navigate if you don't have means. The main character who's a thief, like out there's a certain amount of judgment of like, why is she going back to stealing? And people don't really understand and consider, and she does explain of like, what else could I do? I found it very compelling, really interesting. I loved the love story. It was a really fun, and this is a standalone fantasy book. So if you don't necessarily want to get pulled into a whole long series, you can just read one volume, which is really cool. The one complaint that I had about it is also sort of like, I liked it. I don't know. It's complicated. So what I loved about it is it's a very racially diverse group of heroes in this fantasy world, but because it's sort of going off of a more like European like fantasy scape, they're all knights or thieves or mages. So some of the characters are racially diverse, but you don't really understand, like, so the knight in training is clearly a person of color. She talks a lot about having brown skin, but because it's not based in any sort of a cultural background, because they're all sort of from this mono, that's my dog, the sort of mono, like, European feudalist society. It's like, I don't know what her race or ethnicity was. I just know that she's not white and that she has brown skin, and, I think it would have been a bit more interesting, or culturally rich if we had been able to know about the part of the world or the culture that character came from. Grain of salt. It's also a relatively thick book. Not every book can do everything, but that's my main critique of the book. But ultimately, I really liked The Afterward, and I hope you'll check it out.